This is Business Class on Your Money.
Hi, I'm James Wilkinson and welcome to Business Class. Coming up on tonight's show, we head into the kitchen and talk food with some of the world's best chefs. Before we do that, here's this week's travel news. In travel news this week, Marriott International is currently investigating and taking corrective action on a data security incident, which is understood to have potentially impacted personal details of over 500 million Starwood customers worldwide. Affected information may include names, addresses, phone, email and other personal data. Starwood account details had also been accessed along with specifics relating to a guest's stay dates. Payment information had been encrypted using advanced two-part methods. However, Marriott said it could not rule out the possibility that both had been stolen. Regulatory authorities and law enforcement have been notified of the breaches. Marriott International's president and CEO Arne Sorensen said he deeply regrets the incident and that the company has fallen short of guest expectations. In airline news, Royal Air Maroc is set to join the Oneworld Airline Alliance, becoming the first African carrier in the network. Royal Air Maroc is expected to be implemented into the Oneworld Alliance in mid-2020, when it will join some of the biggest brands in the airline business, including Qantas, American, British Airways, Cathay Pacific, Finnair, Iberia, Japan Airlines, LATAM Airlines, Malaysia Airlines, Qatar Airways, Royal Jordanian, S7 and Sri Lankan. Royal Air Maroc will also be the Alliance's first full new member since 2012, and based on its schedule today, it will add 34 new destinations and 21 countries to the Oneworld map, taking the Alliance's network to 1,069 airports in 178 countries and territories. Still on Oneworld, and Fiji Airways started flying as a Oneworld Connect partner this week as the first airline globally to link up to the Airline Alliance's new platform. Customers with Emerald, Sapphire or Ruby status in any Oneworld member airline's frequent flyer program can use priority check-in desks, priority boarding, and for some customers, lounge access as well. Right now, I'm in Las Vegas at Expedia Group's global partner conference called Explore 18. The company's just released its 2018 year in review, and there's some great news for several Australian cities. Aaron, thanks so much for your time today. You've just released your 2018 year in review. Where are we going and where are we staying?
Well, it's very interesting. We're seeing a trend that I think is growing. It started a little while ago and it's growing now, is people are going to more and more smaller destinations, less well-traveled, I would say, off the beaten path. Everybody, has the bucket list items. They want to go to London and New York City and maybe even Las Vegas. But after you've done that, I think a lot of people are seeking out smaller destinations where they can have more authentic experiences and more local sort of nuanced travel.
So we're looking at places here in Thailand, in Cambodia, in Australia. Brisbane and Perth are shining through the ranks.
Yeah, exactly. And so this was a study of travel from the U.S. So where are U.S. travelers going differently from last year? And we saw spikes, either double-digit or even triple-digit spikes to some of these smaller destinations, including Brisbane and Perth. I think it makes sense. I've been to Sydney. I haven't yet been to Perth. It's actually someplace I've wanted to go to since I was a teenager. I've heard about it, heard it's beautiful and has fantastic beaches and surfing. And so I think it's that kind of destination where an American who might have gone to Sydney once, if they want to go back to Australia, they might want to go someplace a little bit less travel, a little bit less of big cities. Sydney is a big city. It's quite metropolitan. And if you've been to a city, you've kind of been to almost all the cities that are out there. And you go to a smaller city, they have much more character. They have much more interesting things about them.
We need to remember the American travel market is one of the biggest in the world.
Yes. Yeah. It's up there. I think as a single country, it's among the largest. But as a region, North America, if you include Canada and even Mexico, it's more than a third of travel.
Now, in the report this year, people aren't just staying in hotels now. We're staying in houseboats. We're staying in tree houses. Staying in
tree houses. Actually, we saw a huge rise of something called a tentalo, which is a combination of a tent and a bungalow. I think that this makes a lot of sense as well. As people are moving away from these big cities with big infrastructure, big hotels, these much more nuanced and sort of more localized places to stay are becoming quite popular. And so, tentolos are getting big in tropical locations where you can throw a tent, out and it's quite comfortable, and people are quite happy to be out in the middle of all of the beaches and scenery.
So it's almost one of those cases of leave the technology behind when you get there and have the real experience, the authentic, proper travel experience.
Right. Stay in a cabin in the woods, stay in a tentolo on the beach. These can be quite appealing versus stay in a big resort somewhere, a big hotel room.
So as a company that's almost generating $100 billion worth of travel every year, you're very close, you're on $97 billion. You have a lot of data, a lot of stats of where we're going, so the indication of Brisbane and Perth is pretty powerful.
Yeah, I would say so. And again, seeing at least double-digit increases year on year to those kinds of destinations. I just see it more as this trend of people going out and further beyond these big destinations. We saw other places, not just in Australia, places like Inverness in Scotland, which is the gateway to the Highlands, or Belfast in Northern Ireland, Cartagena. Just these smaller destinations, Seville in Spain, actually. So rather than go to Barcelona, go to Seville, and you see, much more authentic sort of Spanish experience. All of these, I think, kind of feed this same story that people want to go out and about and away from these big tourist destinations.
And also, you've also revealed the days of you should never travel and the days that you should travel, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, in the United States, we have some holidays around the end of the year. We have Thanksgiving that happens in November, and then Christmas that happens as well. And they tend to be high travel destination, high travel times in the United States.
Yeah.
And traveling on Thanksgiving Day is really, people do it, but it can be one of the worst travel days that there is, because just everybody's traveling. The airports are packed. It's crazy. Same for Christmas. Right there, Christmas Eve is terrible. You want to space it out. You want to give yourself a day or two if you can in advance of those big days, and you'll be fine.
We'll be back with more Business Class on Your Money, and be sure to check out yourmoney.com.au. And now, more Business Class on Your Money.
InterContinental London is home to Ella Canta, the new restaurant from Mexico's top chef, Martha Ortiz.
Thank you so much for your time today, Martha. We're here at one of the most eclectic restaurants in London at the InterCon Park Lane. How do you think this fits in with London's food culture? It's a huge food culture in this city, isn't it?
Of course, and I adore this city. I adore the flavors. But I think now the Mexican movement, not just through food, through culture, through everything what is happening, it's coming brighter in London and in the world, and I'm so happy and so proud Mexican.
And how could you describe the kind of Mexican food on offer here?
We say we eat colors. What we want to say with this is that we give authenticity through the food. We give beautiful colors, that we have, a very contrast food. You go to Mexico and you can have a black mole with a red rice in a blue plate. So I think it's a high contrast, colorful food, like our country. And the other thing that I think is very lyric and feminine. You feel all these very sensual flavors, very deep. And I think that women, we have this knowledge about beauty, about sensualness, about lyric, about, these magical thing to go.
I mean, around the world we all know different kinds of Mexican food, but authentic Mexican is very mysterious to most of us, isn't it, I think, as a cuisine?
Because we have to be aware, a lot of people confuse Tex-Mex with Mexican, that it's the American point of view of Mexican food, and I think it's another kind of food, or Southwestern, they call it, Cajuna style, and with a lot of cumin. But Mexican food, I think it's so profound, so elegant, so different, and if you see, it's like Mexico has built like a nation of gastronomy. We have fusion food from the beginning, the Hispanic heritage, the New World, and the Old World together in a profound kiss. That's the best.
And we were saying before off camera that It's so much fun now. So many London hotels are doing things a bit different with the restaurants, not just doing classical British hotel restaurants anymore.
I think that's very important for the hotels and for the world. People want to eat authenticity. People want to have vibrancy. People want to have, go and think they're in a very well-defined place. And I think Ella Canta has these kind of characteristics that are very important.
Wonderful. Well, looking forward to trying the food tonight.
I'm very happy and I'm very pleased, as we say in Mexico. Buen provecho.
Atop the luxurious Hotel Eden in Rome is the Michelin-starred La Terrazza restaurant, headed up by chef Fabio Ciervo. Let's go inside.
What really defined Michelin-starred Italian dining, do you think, in 2018?
I think it's a lot of things. First of all, the consistency. So the quality, you need to be today, tomorrow. You cannot do a dish nice today, or the quality of the ingredient is beautiful today and tomorrow is not the same as today. So the consistency is really, really important. And then, clients look for experience. So it's not a classic dish. So you need to, keep the exciting dish and the message. My philosophy of cooking is based on 5 pillars. So you have innovation, the well-being, the ingredient, the flavor, and the art. So each point, it took me 24 years to get where I am today. So the innovation for me means knowledge. So we need to know what we're doing. Let's say I give you an example. All the vegetables we cook under pressure. So we preserve the nutrition side of the ingredient and then the color and the crunchiness. So it's really important to have the knowledge. It's not the mixing in ingredients and then it's finished. So you need to balance. We need to take care about ourselves as well. So that's why the second point is the well-being. I think we need to take care about ourselves with, let's say, calories or how we treat the ingredients. I give you an example. If you wash the salad more than 30 minutes, you lose all the vitamins. So that's what is important for me as well. It's like another example. People, they ask me why you put the ingredient as a third part of your philosophy. It's really simple. Let's get an extra virgin olive oil. So when we put it in the pan and we smoke it, so, we destroy it. So that, from the beginning you have vitamin E, so you have a lot of, antioxidants in the oil, but you can destroy it in a second. So what's the point to have the best quality ingredient and then you destroy it in a second if you don't know what you're doing? And then the harmony, the flavors is really important. So if you're having, the crunchiness in a dish, the acidity, the harmony of these different texture is really important. It's really important. And then also the art. So we need to make it beautiful as well. The eye wants, we want to see something beautiful.
And when it comes to the produce at the moment, what ingredients are really popular at the moment or gaining traction for you?
But at the moment we have strawberries. I'm working on a dish with tomatoes, so I'm creating a dish with, there is a variation of the tomatoes and my remembering. Because when I was a child, I was always eating tomatoes with the bread, so I'm creating a dish which, where, there is a selection of different tastes. So I'm doing ice cream, granita, kind of tomato soup, but it's very special. So I use a lot of technology to concentrate the flavors. So for me it's really important when you remove the greasy part and you remove the sugar from a dish, you have the, and then it is very hard to concentrate the flavors. So for me it's really important to concentrate it and to remove the extra, let's say, oil or to balance, and to get the healthy concept as well.
Yeah, and you look at, Rome's got some very famous dishes, doesn't it?
Yes, so actually when I came in Rome in 2010, I want to create a dish with a local ingredient. So let's say there is a local dish very old, which is called the cacio e pepe. But I did it with a twist of modernity, so what it means for me. So for me, when you eat the classic one, it's very salty, it's very, the black pepper is very aggressive. So what I did, I balanced the pecorino cheese with the Parmigiano, so 60% of pecorino cheese and 40% of Parmigiano, and then the pepper, it's really, it's hard to get the right one. So basically I was eating 2 months cashew pepper myself. Finally I find this wild Madagascar black pepper, which is really, wow, it's got a lot of compounds of flavors. So the first bite when I had this first trial, I stopped 3 seconds and I said, wow, that's the one. So it's on the menu, from 2010. That is a local dish, which, I wanted to put in the gourmet restaurant, but with my twist.
High expectations of Romans coming to eat here that want really great local dishes?
Or the zucchini flour, so we have a lot of ingredients we can work with. Very local, so especially all the vegetable we buy from an hour and a half from here, so on the Agripontino, on the seaside. So they are really fresh and like let's say the zucchini as well. So we have a lot of ingredients which are local. We try to always use the local ingredients and from the season.
Do you get a lot of requests of people coming in here wanting just simple, beautiful Italian that they're used to in their home country?
Yes, we do. We do have a lot of requests. So let's say in a hotel we try to please everyone. So we start from the vegan, gluten-free. We can say, on the a lot of menus we're doing in the room service. So we try to please really everybody, because nowadays I'm sure there is a lot of allergy. So the lactose. So what I did, the last 24 years, I was studying the human body as well, how we react, why we have some allergy. So, like the lactose, because we cannot digest it, because we don't produce, so many enzymes to digest the lactose. So that's for me is really important as well, to please everyone.
We'll be back with more Business Class on Your Money. And now, more Business Class on Your Money.
At the Outrigger Reef Waikiki Beach Resort is the Reef Bar and Grill, led by executive sous chef Delia Romano. Let's catch up with her now. Well, Chef, thanks so much for your time today. We're here at the Reef Bar and Grill on the beautiful shores of Waikiki Beach, and what an amazing office you've got for your kitchen as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's the best one in the world.
Now, what are you doing here from a food perspective? We know you're going a bit more vegan with the menu at the moment and using a lot of local ingredients still, obviously.
Correct. Yeah, we're served to table, basically. So instead of farm to table, we're at the beach, so why not serve to table? I'm also vegan, so we're a steakhouse, but I try to incorporate as much as I can. So 20% vegan, 80% regular options.
And this has been one of the most famous cook your own steak or produce restaurants anywhere in Hawaii, actually.
Correct, yeah.
And that concept's still here. It's where we're standing right now with you, and people obviously love coming here and cooking a steak.
Yeah, they basically pick their meat, pick their rub, whatever flavor they want, and they grab it from the butcher, bring it over here, and then they grill it themselves.
And you guys can also help out if required as well?
Oh, yeah. We could teach everybody how to cook their own steak or whatever it is.
Now, what are some of your favorite things on the menu to cook with that people don't have to cook themselves?
I really like the kebabs. We have ahi kebabs. They're fresh from the sea, local. They're really quick. They're easy to cook. We also do a great ribeye steak. Everybody loves ribeye, so that's a really winner. And we also have, just because I'm vegan, a veggie option. It's basically a little tofu, zucchini, and cauliflower stack, so it's great.
And you're very blessed here in Hawaii having some of the best produce anywhere in the United States.
Yeah, exactly. We actually get chickens. They're called Jadori chickens. Local. They have a really great taste. I'm from Jersey, so the taste here of the chicken that's very local is great. So if I wasn't vegan, I'd probably eat it all the time.
And arguably some of the best seafood anywhere in the world coming right here in the South Pacific.
Yes, definitely. Actually, most of our food is actually caught same day, brought to us, so it's actually really good. Fresh.
It very much is served to table, like you're saying, in every sense of the term. And what are a few more quirky things and cool things that you want to do with this amazing restaurant here?
Well, we're actually trying to reconcept it a little bit. So we have the butcher case, the grill. We're actually thinking about doing an actual front kitchen here. They're actually going to cook in front of everybody up in the front area. So we'll still grill your own if everybody wants to do that, but also they could just see the chefs cook their own meat for them. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
really bringing the kitchen out to the ocean, and that's actually quite a fun concept, because a lot of restaurants now do want that open experience of people being able to watch the chefs cook with the food.
Yeah, everybody kind of is all about watching them cook their meat, cook their food, whatever it is, prepare it. And that's what we're trying to do here. And I think it's a really great concept, and we have the best view in Hawaii.
One of the rising stars in Los Angeles' culinary scene is Casey Lane, who's just opened up 2 restaurants at the hip new Hotel Figueroa. Let's catch up with him now. Casey, we're here at the Hotel Figueroa, and we're at Veranda Restaurant, which is your newest dining concept in LA. What's the concept of the Fig all about?
The concept of the Fig was bringing back kind of the Spanish-French, like, original design, and so they restored it to what it was, and we kind of followed suit with a little bit of the food. My family's all from the south of France, so kind of growing up with that culture, with that style of like simplistic eating, as well as, you know, some of the brasserie food shows the variation in what we've done with the spaces. You know, Breva is a very like intimate brasserie, and like with some heavier, like rich, like composed French food. Now to Veranda, we really wanted to make a light kind of coastal menu that is just, it's really easy to eat by a pool. It's really easy to eat like kind of throughout the afternoon without feeling so gluttonous and heavy that like you need to go take a nap afterwards. So we got into simple roast chickens, roasted fish in the ovens, a lot of vegetable dishes, and just kind of creating a great poolside restaurant for the property.
So Casey, downtown's really going through this whole culinary adventure at the moment, isn't it, with a lot of restaurants coming in?
Yeah, a lot of restaurants, a lot of really talented chefs and just restaurateurs coming in, finding a community that has been kind of reforming itself into the creative hub of Los Angeles over the past 7 years probably, and like it's really starting to blossom. You can see it. You can see that now there's opportunity for you to really live downtown and have a lot of great outlets, you know, much more kind of the way that like downtown Manhattan is.
And you've got a couple more spots here in LA. You've got one down in Venice and one in West Hollywood. And how does the cuisine change at all of your spaces in LA? They're all very, very, a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing about being an operator, and like I love, whenever I think about where to go, it's the neighborhood. It is who are the people that we're actually going to be feeding. Because I could do the same concept in Venice, in Beverly Hills, and it would not work. People would think the food was good, it would be fine, but it wouldn't work. I could do the same thing in West Hollywood as downtown, and it wouldn't work. So getting to be a part of these communities and getting to understand, like, what do they hold dear? Like, what do they love? Why do they go out? And then being able to kind of create the concept and curate it to really become a part of the neighborhood, as well as just, you know, put on hopefully some good cooking and hospitality for people.
It's funny when you look at food cities, and LA traditionally was a very different kind of food city. Now it's really becoming a lot more refined in a number of aspects, isn't it?
I think that all of the game has been elevated once again because of just time and technique and great cooks. You know, so many people from the Tasting Kitchen in Venice were 10 years old at this point. They're now have their own restaurants and they're chefs, and this is not exclusive to us, right? This is David Lefebvre, and this is Nancy Silverton, and this is Michael Smarusti, and it's everyone kind of just getting great training from some really talented people that are now making it one of the better places to eat in the country. And then so much cultural diversity that I think that was so genuine, because you have such pockets of complete just like cultural immersion from it being their communities, their stores, their bars, their style of eating, and like you mix that kind of depth of what you get to experience and what you get to play with some very skilled kind of culinary technicians and like some creative people running the restaurants, and it is definitely having a moment.
Yeah, and your concept here is that it's open at 7 in the morning for breakfast, stay open till 2 a.m. because there is a market that wants to have great food late at night as well, isn't there?
Late at night is when I get to eat at the end of the day, you know, having the traditional dinner for really not even just for being in the restaurant field, but everyone that I know from banks to lawyers to anyone that works so hard to achieve their goal. 7, 8 o'clock doesn't really work, you know?
Yeah.
Like you end up having drinks at 7 or 8 o'clock, recapping the day, getting ready for tomorrow, and then I want dinner at like 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock, or even later relative to what's going on. So we like to provide that because it's, I think selfishly, so much of what I do is actually just what I want to be available, and then I'm lucky that other people agree.
And you're in a brand new, or effectively brand new hotel, given what this place used to be. What really attracted you to this project?
the idea of the history of the property, honestly, and being so unique to have been in downtown for so long and really getting to bring it back to life, and once again in more of a restoration than in a renovation, you know, like getting to restore some of the original like work, as well as, you know, just from the architecture and the art, and making it like kind of a creative cultural hub, but even from the food, and like allowing it to really be like a neighborhood space and a neighborhood restaurant that is in a great hotel.
Well, that's it from us on Business Class. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.